Okay, good morning. And today we were going to be playing the Stanley Parable 8. I kind of skipped over the other ones. Okay. The Stanley Parable 8, Stanley's Tiny Birthday Party. Oh, that's a... Well, now I wish I had done Revenge of the Birthday Party. Okay. Oh? Oh, this is interesting.
Hold on. What's this?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. The Stanley Parable, and it's a button with an 8 on it.
Eight. 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 Eight.
The Stanley Parable 8? No, this doesn't look right at all.
8.
The Stanley
8.
Parable takes place
8.
in an office building.
8.
There are doors
8.
and branching
8.
paths.
8.
This is just a button that
8.
says 8.
8.
Where did the Stanley
8.
Parable go?
8. 8. 8. 8.
Hmm.
8. 8.
Well, I'm looking around and I really can't find the game anywhere. No boss's office or mind
8.
control facility or any of that. Literally just this 8 button. And what's worse is that you seem to be having a better time with this
8.
nonsense game than with the story I
8.
wrote for you.
8.
I'm actually a little insulted.
8. 8.
Well, I mean, to be fair, your story doesn't have this kind of nuance.
8. 8. 8. 8. 8. 8. 8. 8. 8.
I wonder if this button would
Well, I
give you...
don't know what happened to the Stanley Parable or what the
8.
8 button is, but apparently you're having a riveting time with it. And frankly, I don't even want to pander to someone
8.
who finds this enjoyable.
8.
So with that, I guess just go ahead and
8.
enjoy the Stanley Parable 8.
8.
I wonder if this would also give you the 8888 achievement.
8. 8. 8. 8.
Or if this is supposed to be a fake out. So, like, if you haven't figured out the 8888 achievement, you get to this, and then it just makes you
8.
press the button
8.
for hours, and then it never gives it to you.
8.
That would be
8.
really funny.
8. 8. 8. 8. 8. 8. 8. 8. 8. 8. 8. 8. 8. 8. 8. 8. 8.
Hold on.
8.
Okay. Okay, well, I guess I'm
Hold on.
closing the game. Okay. A new kind of coworker. Okay. Okay, let me go ahead and pull up my list of things that I have to do. Or rather, a mix of things that I have and have not done. Okay, I have not gotten the countdown ending. I have not destroyed the bucket. Let's go ahead and destroy the bucket.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. It's bucket time.
Okay, I don't know if I've gotten extremely lucky with its bucket time, or if it just decided that it's going to keep saying that one forever. But it's only said that one for a while now.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was it? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back, and so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door. Oh, good Stanley. I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually. You see, your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very much. It's this bucket you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet.
I don't think
Because
I recognize
that's
this
what
middle
fans
painting.
want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before. Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line? We could make the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes, yes, that's what the fans want. Let's... Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well.
I do appreciate that they made the music quieter for this instance.
Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about. Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue?
Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Yes, it's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up.
How about I go up on this chair? This chair is being a bit more finicky. What about this one? Does this one work? Oh, I bet the reason it sometimes works is because you're able to get up on top of the foot, and then that gives you enough height to get on top of the seat. Something that would have been a pretty wild achievement, which would have been super thematic, is click on every door once.
Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket. That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character. This is the Bucket Destroyer. I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree? Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does? Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you. Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready. Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I don't know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows. That is its singular personality trait.
It won't let me.
I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters? Well, you see, if you were to really explore the Bucket Destroyer, you would see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits. What other object in this game can you even say that about? The broom closet? Certainly not. I wonder what sort of Bucket Destroyer merchandise the fans will be clamoring for after this. Okay, the Bucket Destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed it. We can't get back to the classic Stanley Parable characters
let me.
like the Adventure Line or the Bucket Destroyer until you crush that damn bucket. Quickly now, the fans are waiting. Do it, the fans, Stanley. Give the fans what they want. Hurry and...
Yeah, it won't let me.
The Bucket Destroyer, my prized creation. You had so much potential. We were going to do such marvelous things with you, tell such spell-binding stories about you. All of it squandered now. Goodbye, new friend. For the moment in time that you were here, you were magnificent.
Okay, I did get the red door ending. I just physically don't have enough time to save the baby. I'm going to attempt to bring the bucket to the skip button.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. It's bucket time.
I'm also going to grab those as I find them. Okay, the memory place is in the boss's bathroom.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
I don't remember what's downstairs. Oh, downstairs is the insanity ending. Okay. Yeah, but is there anything for just going up and down and up and down? That would be really funny. And super niche. One more, for good measure. Okay. Oh, now remembering content from a long time ago. Oh, they added the Stanley Parable 8 to the mirror. Oh, okay. If we go just based on vaguely space allocation, there's room for 5 more things on here.
Hold
Okay.
on. What's this?
Okay, I cannot bring the bucket to Stanley Parable 8. Although it is good to know that I
All
can
of his
click on a
co-workers were
specific
gone. What could it
one.
mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting. It's bucket time.
No, the bucket is less appealing because
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his
or
chest.
rather, I
and
liked it
entered
better
the
when it
door
was
on
just
his
choosing a
left.
random dialogue for when you picked up the bucket.
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd... Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Okay, so I can take the bucket to the new content.
Hello, and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. As you may know...
Ooh, actually.
The Stanley Parable
I should
was a
add that
video
to my...
game released
I should
in
add this to the list of
2013
things
on
I've done.
home computers. After receiving critical and commercial success,
I'm gonna turn the game volume down just a touch.
it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over. Please, step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
I shouldn't have
Oh, well,
wasted all
this
my
sounds
jumps.
Delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content. Wait, Stanley. I've just now realized. That bucket you're holding, it's the bucket I've been working on for my sequel.
Hey,
How did you get your hands on it? Isn't this the preview to the sequel? How do you have the bucket already? This makes no sense at all. Hold on. Did I already show you my ideas for the sequel? I don't remember doing that at all. You're seeing things all out of order.
oh. Okay, so where's N in my list? New content and the new content bucket.
What order are all of these endings arranged in exactly? Oh, bloody hell, this game is far too complicated.
Yes, it is. Oh. Okay, can I rig this? Is there a way I can give myself more jumps?
Wait, so this means you must have already been to my exhibit on the Stanley Parable too, because how else would you have the bucket? The infinite hole, the gym button. Did you see them already? Stanley, none of them are ready yet. I'm still developing them. They're not even close to finished. How did they look when you saw them? Were they captivating? Were they exciting? Did they fulfill on the promise of everything that a sequel to Stanley Parable could possibly be? Had I figured out how the hell to make a sequel to this game?
That was a dissonance between dialogue and subtitles. It's not even like a slight difference. That was just actually a different word. Or a different phrase, rather.
Wait, if you're still carrying the bucket around with you, if the bucket is interesting to you, that means I must have made it correctly. Yes, you carrying the bucket with you everywhere is exactly what I set out to accomplish. The bucket is the exciting and captivating new content that I promised. I did it! I win! I made a sequel to the Stanley Parable! Yes, the sign is correct. Thank you for enjoying the new content. Thank you for taking the bucket everywhere with you. Clinging tightly to the bucket, never letting it go. It means I've won. It means I am victorious over the gamers. It is a sweet salve of victory on my soul. Thank you for enjoying the new content. The bucket is the Stanley Parable now. They are one and the same. There is no Stanley Parable without the bucket. I win, 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 I win.
Yes. Yes, you do win. Congratulations.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. It's bucket time. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Okay, well, if they added something for the Stanley Parable 8, I might
Still
have to
no one
just
was here.
reload the
Stanley
game
needed
a
the
ton
bucket's
of
warmth and
times.
comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where, coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
I wonder if the memory zone is just explicitly for locations that you are no longer able to visit. But if that were the case, then they would add the figurine area here. Oh. What? Oh, I can't take the bucket in here?
You remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it got me thinking about the past and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be. So I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it. Just our little secret. Take a look.
Oh. I can't bring the bucket through here. What? Why is the game auto-crouching? Oh, that's so funny. The auto-crouch isn't on the vent itself. It's just on the entire wall. Okay, I'm gonna have to get up on top of this chair to try and get past it. Oh, that is so funny. I guess maybe they just made it into a massive box collider. And if you enter the box, the game makes you crouch. That is such a janky solution. Because, I mean, the game already has a crouch button. Like, seriously, just put like a little collider here that when you run into it, it says press control to crouch. Or whatever. Okay. Okay, unfortunately, I am not able to bring the bucket to the skip button. Okay. Computer error message.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay, I would like to turn off all of the computers. Surname access. I think that's the main computer that matters. So if I reset after turning that one off.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
Employee
Perhaps he had simply
database?
missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Surname access.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay, but now it reset. Okay, maybe the normal computer monitors don't matter. No, I don't want the fancy exits.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow, yes, this room. What a beautiful room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
I wonder if the joke behind the lounge is that it's not actually all that great, but it just has a bunch of different dialogue. Because it hasn't actually done anything just yet.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Okay. Oh, that's funny. You get too far away, and whatever is behind the windows creating light deloads. Um. Oh no. I think I might have broke the elevator. Whoops. Okay, I guess we'll find out if something happens. Okay. I'm gonna wait here a while to see if it eventually opens up on its own. Because I can't open the door anymore. The narrator is singing along to this, so it's potential that it's not a loop. Okay, I think it is looping.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay, so you turn that one off.
I can't wait to tell this story to my co-workers, Stanley thought. How amusing they'll find
Okay,
it.
we're gonna have to
Oh, won't we
burn a
all
few
just
runs to
laugh
test.
and laugh at the time I thought everyone had gone missing. Stanley
Okay.
knew the office layout like the back of his hand. It was only a matter of time before...
Okay, let's go ahead and get the bucket heaven.
someone was following Stanley. He was sure of it. All of his co-workers... All of his... How one... All of his... All of his co... Ah, quite a pleasant amount of
Oh?
viscosity we've got today, wouldn't you say? Very enjoyable.
Oh, bumpscosity is up? I mean, I do have it set to 100.
It's bucket time. Just a step. My God.
Oh. Subtitles to the rescue? My God, the bumpscosity in here is absolutely overwhelming. Oh, that's funny. Okay, let's turn it down.
All of his co... All of his co...
There we go. Okay.
It's bucket time.
Oh. Oh. This is spooky. Okay, I don't know if anything's happening. This is bucket heaven, I guess? Like, I don't know if anything's happening. This is so much effort. This is amazing. They made an entire extra scene. Okay. Okay. I got the bucket heaven ending.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay, I need to figure out how this one works. So I need to do a few tests.
How wonderful. Stanley was alone. Finally. This is great, he thought to himself. This is what I've wanted. Wait, Stanley thought to himself. Am I sure that the orders stopped coming in? How is that possible? They never stopped. Surely I was mistaken.
Okay, so if I turn off those 3 computers and then reset.
I can't wait to tell this story to my co-workers. Stanley thought, how amusing they'll find it. Oh, won't we all just laugh and laugh at the time I thought everyone had gone missing?
Okay.
How long was I sitting there? Stanley wondered to himself. Minutes? Days? Centuries? Did something crucial happen while my senses were turned? He made a note to be more careful with time from now on.
I'm guessing at some point I'm gonna have to go up to the boss's office.
Even now, Stanley's office was a distant memory. What did it look like? There was a computer, perhaps, and a painting. Was it a painting or a photo? He could no longer recall.
Okay, so those 3 are definitely the first step.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room to check on his co-workers.
Okay.
He never found...
Let's turn...
This is the story of a man named Stanley. This is the story...
Okay, so this one... the first 3 are always the same. That one, that one... Okay, so now it's these 2. And then... Okay, all the same, but plus 1. Okay, let's see if it happens again. You know, I don't know if I've done much stuff here.
difference, nor did it advance the story in any
Oh,
way.
okay. Well, this just leads there, so I doubt it's going to be much different.
It's
Okay, so... Oh, that was interesting. Oh, that's funny. If you reset as you're grabbing the bucket, it'll give you the bucket right at the start, but then it takes it away. Quite unnerving in here with all of it gone. All the bumscosity. That's funny. Okay, so I need to get a little bit lucky and not get the alternate start. Huh. This happens occasionally. This could just be a visual
Co-workers
thing.
were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I don't think I've done anything that's tied to all the papers being on the ground. Although it looks like the papers stop once you get here. Okay, I would like to go through there, but there's doors in the way.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay, turn off those three.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
And then it's the exact same. Maybe I have to wait a little bit after the last one for it to properly register.
Even now, Stanley's office was a distant memory. What did it look like? There was a computer, perhaps, and a painting. Was it a painting or a photo? He could no longer recall. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay,
Even now, Stanley's office was a distant memory. What did it
now
look
this
like?
one
There was a
updated.
computer, perhaps, and a painting. Was it a painting or a photo? He could no longer recall. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Someone was following Stanley. He was sure of it. If he checked over his shoulder now, he would surely catch them. It was only a matter of time.
That would be a pretty freaky one to get on your first go. Okay, I'm gonna start glancing through this window to see if the solitaire changes on any of these resets. Because I know how to get to the solitaire room, even if I don't know how to finish the confusion ending.
How long was I sitting there? Stanley wondered to himself. Minutes? Days? Centuries? Did something crucial happen while my senses were Even now, Stanley's office was a distant memory. What did it look like? There was a computer, perhaps, and a painting. Was it a painting or a photo?
Although I feel like I'm doing the same thing every time.
Stanley was alone.
But it feels like it's... sometimes different. Maybe the order matters? Maybe I'm going too fast or something? Or maybe the white computers actually don't matter and it's just a little bit of luck. Okay, I did it in reverse order that time. Unless which computers are on actually just is random, and it's not anything. It's just, this first configuration is by far the most common. Yeah, because I did it in reverse order that time. Again. Let's just... Okay, so I think it might actually just be random. Because this time it's the end configuration. Where I think that's all of them. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and... This is the one that by far has the most computers being accessed. Being utilized, so that was 4. 5. 6. Okay, solitaire is solitaire. Okay, no. Okay, starting to think the computers is just a random interactive and it doesn't actually do anything. Okay, so the countdown ending, I have not gotten. Papers on the floor might not be a thing. Save the baby, I don't have enough time for. And then turn off all the computers might not be a thing. Hmm. Oh, I can try and do the confusion ending proper. Because I have not actually ever succeeded in doing that one. Unless that's the joke. Like, getting to the confusion ending room is the end of the confusion ending.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Standing now...
Okay, confusion ending and rename.
In this incredible room, Stanley for the first time, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track. But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, oh, no, it's to the right, my mistake. No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please? Now, let's see. We went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way. No, 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 no. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to, oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top.
One of those fired employees was 434 over here.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it...
And this is the desk that you use to get out of the window. So I wonder if the other fired employee images are hints towards other endings.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Bucket is gone. Okay, so I am definitively in the confusion ending.
When Stanley... Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere, or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
Oh, that was fast. Oh, never mind. Everyone knows what you did. They're just holding back to let you torture yourself. Ouch.
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
Okay, so that's the second restart. The office is now a dead end. Turn around to find another dead end.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Oh, interesting. It's not solitaire at the moment.
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything? Aha! I knew we'd missed something. The story. Here it comes. No, wait, never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps. Now this... Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job. Oh, no, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart. All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
Did they change the orientation of this chair? Like, specifically for, like, if you're in the middle of a multi-restart ending, so you can't get on top of here. Because they remove the collision on this chair, so you can't get up here. They removed the check on that. Makes sense. Oh? You can go back in here. Oh, there is no confusion ending with the bucket. Because in order to start the confusion ending, you go down the lift. But if you take the bucket down the lift, you go down a completely different path.
You see? The line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Okay, Stanley, I need to follow this train of thought for a minute. Just stick with me. Now, we can both agree that the nature of existence is in fact a byproduct of one's subjective experience of that existence, right? Okay. Now, if my experience of your existence rests inside of your subjective experience of this office, is this office, in fact, the skeleton of my own relative experiential mental subjective construct? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now
And settings, audio, music.
is a bit of music to lighten the mood. Wait, cut the music. Go back and look at that fern. Wait, what? We're back at the office? No.
Okay, well, music can come back.
Fine. You do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell? Oh, no, not again. Line, how could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
Okay, take a couple screenshots so I can see which monitors are actually marked as fired. Okay, monitor 104 is marked as fired. 601, I think. Monitor 234 isn't marked as fired, but it is covered in a bunch of static. So... fired in monitor room. Okay. 601. 104. And then 234 is static.
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction? Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination.
Okay,
Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it.
Okay, so I know what I need to do up until the point where I find the confusion ending schedule.
Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
Oh, the line actually has slight depth. I thought it was like a texture. No, it has a little bit of thickness. It's just kind of hard to tell unless it's up against varying depths.
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere at the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits. Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story, wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination, so I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime, if you...
Okay, this is the furthest that I've ever gotten.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to
Okay.
the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard
That
Stanley
is
looked,
the
he
confusion
couldn't
ending.
find a trace of his co-worker.
Okay, so that is the confusion ending, because the timer stops, the narrator doesn't follow the list of instructions, and then also, the collision on this chair has been re-enabled. So we are officially out of the confusion ending. Is the bucket back? Okay, yeah, bucket is here. Okay, so the narrator breaking the cycle, that is the confusion ending. Okay. Okay, so there is no confusion ending with the bucket. I want to see if I can smuggle the bucket into the epilogue. The answer is no. Okay. Okay, so list of things. I do not have the countdown ending. The papers on the floor, alternative start, might be a thing. It also might just be visual. Turn off all the computers, that might not be a thing. I don't have enough time to save the baby, because that takes 4 hours, from my understanding. Okay. I am just going to reload the game a bunch and see if I get any variants. Like how Stanley Parable 8 did. The Stanley Parable 10. My guess is something interesting will happen once you get to a point to where, like, this is long enough and then you get a bunch of these, and you just get a super long title. Okay. The Stanley Parable 11, the original content. Oh, that's cool. They gave a little preview into how the level design is set up. Oh, damn. That's an appropriate subtitle. Is this the narrator? Or is this the bucket? I also just remembered I have not been taking proper notes. Temple of Cheese.
Yeah, well, I just thought that it wasn't acceptable, for
Who
the
the
founders of
fuck
the
are you?
place.
Are you our boss?
I thought the reports could be a lot better. I thought.
Okay. Expired. No, wait. Evil hole punch. Or the original challenge. Oh? Good morning, Hilly Badger. This is an interesting title screen. I was half expecting it to give me like just let me actually move the thing around. Also, that's not the format in which an actual deleted message appears, so I know that you just typed message deleted. This is a good song.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. It's bucket time.
Message sad and
Stanley clutched
I'm not
the
sure what
bucket
you're
tightly
trying to
to
say.
his chest and entered the door on his left. Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd coming to a staircase. Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Okay. And screenshot. Okay, so I currently have 3 things on the memory board. Although it looks like there's room for like 3 to 5 more, maybe? And this one was for the Stanley Parable 8. Ooh, actually, this is the perfect time for... Enables translated labels on top of in-world text. Sure. Additional text, gameplay, critical colors. I don't think Hilly Badger, you're gonna have to use a lot more words to properly explain what your issue is, because you're not giving me enough information in order to be able to try and help you. Reduces difficulty for time-sensitive inputs and precision platforming. Okay, that has to be a gag, because there is no precision platforming. Okay, now you're using even... Okay, you have to use more words, use multiple sentences, or I'm not going to be able to help you. I know. I know you're trying. And I'm being patient.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Translation labels. Except there is no non-English text, I don't think. Gameplay critical colors. Wait. Oh, all of the accessibility options are jokes. Because there is no camera bob. That's just not even in the game. What about auto walk? Auto walk input. Okay, wait, what's the auto walk input? Auto walk toggle. Okay, so auto walk is like an actual setting. Although I think most of these are just jokes. Because I don't think there's any non-English text. I don't think there's any... Are you trying to optimize the game right now? No. Right now, I'm in the cleanup phases of trying to find all of the last things that I have not found yet. And I was going through the settings to see if there might be anything hidden. Because this game, I wouldn't put it past this game to have an ending be hidden in the actual settings. Although it looks like most of these accessibility options are just jokes. Just poking fun at things that are normally in games. Although auto walk is actually a mechanic. That one's actually functional. Although I don't really need that. Unless there's a thing for do a run only using auto walk.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Oh, although auto walk would be
When
optimal
Stanley came
for
to a set of
a
two
task.
open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Because this is effectively analog input. Rather than using
Yet there was
WASD.
not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an...
Looks like you haven't gotten the broom closet any. Dude. One, I have messed with the broom closet, and two, spoilers. Wait. Okay, resets the game. I thought that said deletes the game.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
You know, I have spoilers in the title. I also have the chat rules in place. Okay, I didn't forget.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief...
Also, if you don't, please just don't spoil things. If you see something I haven't done, don't tell me it exists. Because that just ruins the game. That just actually ruins the game and makes it a less pleasurable experience.
Stanley decided to go up. Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
I mean, I've been in here. I've gotten a few of the dialogue.
Here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet.
I guess
No
maybe I just
reason to
didn't
still
wait
be
long
here.
enough.
It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA. Are you really still in the broom closet? Standing around doing nothing? Why? Please offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused.
Well, I'm still here because you keep talking.
You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out. But it didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever. I never would have thought to mention it. Maybe to you this is somehow its own branching path. Maybe when you go talk about this with your friends you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favourite." I hope your friends find this concerning. Stanley was fat and ugly and really stupid. He probably only got the job because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is. That or with drug money. Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Okay, that's where that line comes from.
Well, I've come to a very definite conclusion about what's going on right now. You're dead. You got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing here when a physical malady of some sort shut down your central nervous system and you collapsed on the keyboard. Well, in a situation like this, the responsible thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of before it begins to decompose. Hello? Anyone who happens to be nearby? The person at this computer is dead. They have fallen prey to any number of your countless human physiological vulnerabilities. It's indicative of the long-term sustainability of your species. Please remove their corpse from the area and instruct another human to take their place, making sure they understand basic first-person video game mechanics and filling them in on the history of narrative tropes in video gaming, so that the irony and insightful commentary of this game is not lost on them. All right, when you've done that, just step out into the hallway. Ah, second player, it's good to have you on board. I guarantee you can't do any worse than the person who came before you. You too? Unbelievable. I'm at the mercy of an entire species of invalids. Perhaps there's a monkey nearby you can hand the controls to. A fish? Fungus? Look, you can hammer out the details. I'm not particularly picky. I'll just be waiting for when you're ready to pick up the story again. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Oh. I didn't think the door was gonna close. Okay, yeah, I definitely did not wait long enough.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the
What made you think I hadn't done that yet?
meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he
Is there
entered
like
the
a visual
door on his
change?
left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Yeah, it doesn't look any different.
Oh no, no, not again. I won't be part of this. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm just going to be patient and wait for you to finish whatever it is you enjoy doing so much in this room. Please take your time.
Oh. It's a multi-run ending.
Coming to a staircase,
Oh, thank you.
all of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay, well, the bucket is still here. Usually that goes away if you're in the middle of a multi-run ending.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Oh, the narrator's gonna
Yet
remove
there was
the
not
broom
a single
closet.
person here either.
I bet
Feeling
that's what's
a
gonna
wave
happen.
of disbelief, Stanley
Aw.
decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
No. Wait. That can lock you out of the bucket stickers. Unless there's a check for that. Yeah, you gotta be careful. Oh, no, that's terrible.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Okay. I was kind of expecting the broom closet to appear on the memory zone. I feel like there are a few endings I'd have my friend show me because there's no way for me to get them on my own. Oh, like there's some things in the game that you get locked out of if you take certain paths. Not sure how I feel about that in terms of game design. Especially a choose-your-own-adventure game like this. Not locked out, but insanely hard time. Oh, fair, fair. So far... so far in my list of endings that I have, the things that I know about but have not gotten is the countdown ending. I have not gotten that. Like, if you take the normal path, but then try to take control of the mind control facility, it starts the bomb countdown. I haven't figured out how to cancel the detonation, if that's even possible at all. Occasionally, whenever you restart, there's a ton of papers on the floor. I don't know if that is anything. But I have that noted down. I have not saved the baby, because that takes 4 hours from my understanding, and I just don't have enough time in the day to stream that. And then also...
All of his co-workers were
these
gone.
computers
What could it mean?
being able to be turned
Stanley
off.
decided to go to the meeting room.
Don't know if
Perhaps
that's
he
a
had
thing.
simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't.
I don't know if these computers are a thing, because it seems random which ones are on or off. Have you gotten the... Dude, I just said don't tell me about things. Did you even read the chat rules? Like, at all? It's not a spoil. Everything is a spoiler. If it's in the game, and I have not experienced it, everything is a spoiler. Especially an ending. In a choose-your-own-adventure game, the endings are the primary game mechanic. So yes, that is 100% a spoiler. Hey, question. Do you know, is there a way for people to reread the stream rules after they've already confirmed them? Like, maybe reloading the stream? Because I actually don't know if that's a thing you can do. Or if it just saves it to your cookies and then it's just gone forever.
Revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light... The bucket did not react, except perhaps a tiny glow of warmth. Subtle, yes, but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation. The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine. Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
Okay, so that does close behind you. Good to know.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Nope. Hmm. Oh? Okay, so I just looked it up. Apparently, next to chat, the settings icon uh has a like the gear icon. It looks like it might have a option to reread them. I suppose I can also just copy paste them to the stream about section. That would probably be smart. I don't see it in settings. That's unfortunate. Although... Oh, wait. The About panel does not support line breaks, so that would be annoying. Although maybe I could do a panel. Although that would probably just require... I could add a text or image panel. Channel rules. So how should I ask where you're at in the game, or I should just not ask any questions? You are able to ask questions, you just have to be very careful not to spoil things. One incredibly safe thing is to just ask me how far I've gotten. And then I will do my best to describe how much I am aware of. Okay, there we go. Okay. I copy-pasted the chat rules into the area under the stream. There's a bunch of non-linear stuff like the broom closet. Yeah, that's true. Wait. The fuck? Why did the spoiler safe word not copy paste? Okay, there we go. I guess I just used the wrong character. I actually do have a list of the current endings / miscellaneous things I've done. Although it's local, it's not really linkable. Yeah, no, sending that into chat would be an absolute nightmare and might be over the character limit. Let me see if I can throw together just a Google Doc that I can then link. Streaming. Game notes. Google Docs. Stanley endings and miscellaneous. Boop. Okay, save, share. Only anyone with the link can view, copy. Okay, that should be a fairly comprehensive list of the things that I have found and are aware of. Things that are in bold, I have not confirmed are actually a thing, or I have confirmed it, but I just have not gotten it.
Wait, Stanley thought to himself. Am I sure that the orders stopped coming in?
Okay, I already got that.
Even now, Stanley's office was a distant memory. What did it look like? There was a computer, perhaps, and a painting. Was it a painting or a photo? He could no longer recall. It's bucket time.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, camera bobbing is a thing. It's just, it affects the bucket.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
The bucket has audio. Nice.
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers.
Oh, if you have the bucket, the boards go away.
Stanley, we must move on from this broom closet, simply because I have no remaining stickers. If I did, you can guarantee we'd be in here for hours. But alas, no stickers.
Yeah, but what if I just... The hardest ending is getting the achievement of playing the... I don't... Like, that's... I've had a couple people say that that's the hardest one, which I don't know how that's the hardest one. Like, it's... There is zero effort whatsoever. You just don't play the game. Also, achievements are spoilers. I mean, I've already looked through the list,
Coming
but...
to a stick.
Yeah, no, achievements are spoilers. Yeah, but just because
Stanley
something
had
takes the
never seen
longest, that doesn't mean it's the hardest. And also, you can very easily cheese that, most probably by just changing system clock. That's interesting. It's raining? Wind, maybe? Now I kind of wish I had jumped out the window with this ambiance going on. Also, I'm pretty sure there was a second office that can randomly appear because I've seen it like once.
He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible,
Oh, right.
he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk.
Forgot about that.
That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music. Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Okay, whatever that sound is, I don't think I've experienced that before. Okay, you can go back up without the bucket.
Whoops, nope, never mind. Stanley actually got back into the elevator and went back up. Silly me. Why did Stanley do that when he knew that it would just lead back to his boss's office? Well, that's a great question. I just can't wait to find out. Here we are, Stanley. It's your boss's office. Exactly the way it was before you got onto the elevator. It's still just exactly what it is. What a decision you've made to come up here and look at the office again. This has fleshed out the plot of the story in new and fascinating ways I could have never anticipated. It's that keen eye for storytelling that you have, an incisive rapid fire of critical plot points, one after the other, weaving a rich tapestry of uncompromising narrative. Wow. I'm bolted to the edge of my seat.
Yeah, I don't think I've... No, I mean, well, I definitely haven't seen that before.
Incredible. Now he's getting back into the elevator and going down again. Ladies and gentlemen, how does he keep coming up with all this? Surely this time Stanley will walk forward into the spooky corridor, won't he?
No, I don't think he will.
Did you think we were going to go forward down the spooky corridor? No. It's time once again to go back up in the elevator. I can't even begin to grapple with what might be up there. Is it the boss's office again? Or what if it's the boss's office this time? The suspense is killing me.
I hope it's the boss's office. Stanley has no shadow.
Oh my god. It's the boss's office. This absolutely changes everything for me. Give me a time out here for a minute while I process this.
Oh. There's Birdman!
Okay, I'm ready. I'm prepared to embrace this stunning revelation and to move forward with... No! No, wait! No! I need more time to process. All right. I have fully come to terms with it. I have made space in my worldview for this astonishing new reality. As before, I turn to your expert eye for gripping narrative, Master Stanley. Of course. Going back down in the elevator. How did I not anticipate it? I mean, sure, now it's obvious, but you have to understand that 30 seconds ago, this kind of thing had never been attempted before. I had no frame of reference to even anticipate it. That's just how revelatory Stanley's decision-making is. A breath of fresh air in a landscape of storytelling that has grown stale and repetitive.
Oh, he's not even saying anything. He's so done.
You know what? I've just thought of something. Hold on, let's stop for a moment. Don't you realize? It's the anticipation, Stanley. You and I, we have no way of knowing what will be at the top of this elevator. But the suspense, the agony of waiting and anticipating and having to guess, that's the real thrill. Oh, I simply don't want to let that feeling go. It's so precious. So fleeting. Why don't we take this elevator ride nice and slow? There we go. Isn't this so much more exciting? You know, Stanley, it seems like nowadays the only thing that audiences want is to be shocked as loudly and frequently as possible. They want big, explosive moments flung right in their faces from the very moment that things get started. But where's the tension? Where's the trust in the audience to build a slow and nuanced appreciation for the story, the characters? Why aren't we given time to imagine the surprises, to have to think and to anticipate and then to marvel at the eventual reveal? This is storytelling, Stanley. What you and I are doing right now. This is the most exciting narrative to be developed in years, and it's really all because of you. You're the one who took this bold step of revisiting the exact same locations over and over. Truly, I mean it. This is unique and different. It's not like anything else out there. You see, I want stories that surprise me, Stanley. I want to have to think. I want to be engaged and not pandered to. We're being fed such unimaginative drivel all the time, and we all know it, which is why we're so starved for content that makes us feel sharp and vital and alive. That's why people like you so much, Stanley, because you're not afraid to spit in the face of tradition. You're a role model, you know? People look up to you. Which is why... Oh, I didn't know when to spring this on you, but, well, I've gathered a little press conference for you, so that you can talk about your work and your storytelling and your life. Yes, I know you're not much for the public eye, but I thought it would especially mean a lot to the people who have been following you from the beginning. They really look up to you, Stanley. I don't know if you realize the impact you have on them. This is the kind of gesture that might leave a tremendous impact on them for the better. Oh good, we're here. Okay, the room where we're holding the press conference should be just around the corner here somewhere.
Oh, okay. I have seen the bucket variation of this. I just didn't realize that there was a normal variation of this.
Ah, yes, here it is, just through this door.
Really? Alternatively, what if I go back? Okay, nope, it's locked.
All right, are you ready? I've told them you're going to speak a little bit about the nature of surprise in storytelling and what it means to craft a truly unpredictable narrative. Oh, don't worry, you'll do great. Just be yourself and speak from the heart. I'm really proud of you, Stanley. Okay, it looks like they're ready for you. Go get 'em.
I love the way you read the elevator. Oh, interesting. Stanley canonically knows how to ride a skateboard. Oh, okay. Nope. Okay. That's more people than have ever existed in this game before. Ow. Yep, that sounds about right.
Stanley had never seen the office this brightly lit. Was it a sign of something? He hoped it was. He hoped very much that it was.
It's a sign that retinal damage from all the camera flashes. Do I not have the bucket variant in my list? Broom closet. No. What? Feedback? Fuck off, feedback hub. Okay, no, I did not add. Okay, press conference, and then press conference bucket. Okay, that's cool. New thing gotten. No, 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 no. Okay. One thing I have
It's
not
bucket
tried.
time.
One thing I have not tried is bringing the bucket to the countdown. So that's some dialogue I can see, but I also just still haven't figured out how to do the countdown. Period.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
I think there is also one ending that I remember seeing a long time ago. That I just don't know how to access. I don't think it was the heaven ending, but I think it did look visually similar. where you were in a white void with a bunch of colored buttons. I think the lore room references it.
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where, coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
And then also, there's just everything over here. I haven't figured out a way to do anything with any of this. Like, I got myself soft locked in here, but it doesn't seem to do anything with or without the bucket. Like, it plays the music for infinitely. The narrator sometimes sings along, but then it never goes anywhere.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down it, but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation. Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves. Monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
Let me up. I think it's like slightly faster to press the, well, actually quite a bit faster to press the button, and then you can climb up onto the railing and then drop down onto this as it's raising.
Was
Although
the
you gotta be
bucket
careful.
under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind.
Interesting. That's employee 278. Yet it's showing desk 433. I'm sorry, uranium? Glowing green stuff?
No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control, never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket. But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good. Two best friends, Stanley and the bucket, up against the world. They high-fived in a really cool way, and the bucket made a sassy comment about taking down the system. But at the last second, the bucket jumped in and pressed the button to turn on the controls. Stanley gasped in horror. Had this been the bucket's plan all along? To take over the machine and claim the power for itself? How could the bucket have betrayed him like this? Stanley was prepared to throw the bucket away in disgust when suddenly an image appeared upon the enormous screen.
Yo.
Birds. Silly, silly birds. The control buttons became active again.
Birds? Okay, door is still closed. Okay, the video is looping.
Stanley flipped through one video of silly birds after another, and then it dawned on him. This wasn't a mind control facility at all. It was a facility for monitoring and surveilling silly birds all over the world. The mind controls were only a facade to disguise its true intentions. Had the bucket known this all along? Stanley marveled at the metal genius in his hands, the one who had pointed him towards this incredible discovery. Stanley and the bucket never found freedom because they spent the rest of their lives here in this place, flipping through live streams of the silliest birds imaginable. Of all the possible paths his life could have taken, this one was surely the best. And Stanley was happy.
That's neat. Silly bird ending is best ending. Although it would take so long to rank all of the endings. Hello, wife.
It's bucket time. The meeting room. Yes, that's where everyone would be. Stanley just needed to get to the meeting room, and from then on, he would never be alone ever again. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
It wouldn't surprise me if, in the confusion ending, there's a specific path you can take through the maze that leads to something new.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Hoping he might coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Okay, I'm gonna reload the game a few more times to see if getting to a new number of title screen does anything. Ooh, pirate ship. I'm curious if at some point it just stops counting, or if it actually is just a standard variable on the inside. Sentences, sorry. Missing coworkers scenario. I suppose one thing that I haven't done is actually like fully go through the credits on the title screen. I've gone through the credits in, uh, in one of the endings. Based on the work of the Stanley Parable. And you. Okay.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Stanley versus 427. Ooh, now with added... now with added sequel. This is the most sequel of the sequels. Okay, this feels like it's either going to be one of two things. Either the skin, either 8 is the only thing that is like an actual thing. Very descriptive. Either Stanley Parable 8 is the only thing that's an actual unlockable, or there's going to be one at a ludicrous number. I don't think there's an in-between. The Stanley Parable 24. Half employee, half gun. Oh, that's interesting. The boardwalk isn't here. There's supposed to be a boardwalk here. I wonder if the boardwalk is only there after you unlock the figularines. I'm gonna go to at least like 32 maybe, because that's a power of 2. The ghoulish square.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Wait a second. Why are you open again?
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Huh. Broom closet doesn't get relocked? Maybe it resets when you close and reopen
Coming
the
to
game.
a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. 284. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
Okay, I waited for him to say the PIN number, hoping that would be long enough.
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway. Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death. The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Okay, that should be close enough to trigger if there was going to be anything.
But of course, Stanley thought better of it and realized he simply had too much to live for.
Did he, though?
Nope, still on board with death.
Okay, I'll turn up. I'll give up on the backwards walking thing for now. This is quite a long hallway. Okay, I guess that's it. Wacky. Stanley's big lawsuit. Nice. Who? Race to the law? Nah, Stanley's big lawsuit. Wah, 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 wah. Okay, I'm gonna go eat some food. I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. The end is never the end, is the ever. The end is never the didgeridoo. Huh. Actually, one thing I haven't done, I haven't
All
fully
of his
ran through
co-workers
the
were
memory
gone.
zone
What could it mean?
while it's on the
Stanley
mirror.
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Hoping coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it got me thinking about the past and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be. So I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it. Just our little secret. Take a look. I call it the Memory Zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC. You see, Stanley, doesn't the Memory Zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap re-release? Remember back in October of 2013 when the game originally launched? Back then, video games had integrity. Back then, it all meant something. Oh, the waste.
It's possible that there's something different.
And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable.
Although, since
Like
I'm
this
not allowed to have
stunning
the
triumph
bucket
of
here,
games
since I'm not allowed to have the bucket here, this might actually just be a way to just have access to the content. If you didn't super explore it all that much. Okay, this one I actually didn't get to read. Honestly, I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. The individual paths themselves are also not very fun, not offering much to do throughout each path, and requiring some rather tedious nonsense to get certain endings. I cannot recommend this game to anyone, even as a so bad it's good game, as you'll more than likely wind up bored by your third or fourth playthrough. Well, if you don't enjoy the narrator, then you're probably not going to enjoy the game because or the endings because most of the alternative endings is just seeing how the narrator is going to react to you going down this path. You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with this long-winded explanation. I wish there was a skip button. Oh.
What's this one got to say?
You may
You constantly
wish
have
and
to
you
stop
get.
doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button. A skip button? Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley Parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have. And here it is. Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of unnecessary verbal flourishes and lengthy ruminations on the nature of choice in video games. Of course, I happen to believe it was perhaps one of my more profound such ruminations. Not that, of course, you need a description of it, but if I had to describe it, I'd say it was perhaps less of a rumination and more of a treatise.
Treatise? Systematic exposition or argument. Oh, okay, so like an analysis.
Or maybe a manifesto. Look, I'll outline it for you very briefly, and you can tell me what you think. Okay, so my theory is that any choice you've ever made is simply a series of choices made by the person who you are, or were, or will be at the time of having made said choice. That is to say, if by articulating a choice you've already made, you bring that choice into being, then by making no choice and saying nothing, are you not simply erecting in the sanctuary of time a monument to every person you've ever been, making every choice to which you've ever given your Greek gift of mortal and yet timeless thought? Or rather, do all of the choices you've ever made in fact make you more not this kind of person, and in fact do the very opposite? You see, it could in fact be both of these things at once. That you are both making choices and not making choices, and that they are both affecting you and not affecting you at the same time by virtue of the fact that you both are and are not making them. Okay, at first I was leaning towards manifesto, but now I'm going to circle around and slap the treatise label on this one. I think it has much more of a treatise vibe to it. But wouldn't you say that manifesto just has a much grander sort of tone? It has a mouthfeel that is rich with ambition and history. Ambitious history, if you will. Ah. See, now you've gotten me going back to manifesto. Heavens, at this rate, we're going to be here all day. Okay, look, I have a method for exactly this sort of situation, and I do find myself in this situation frequently. I'm going to say each word back and forth in repeated succession until I become sick of one or the other, in which case the word I am not sick of shall be the victor. It is an unimpeachable strategy, Stanley. It's rescued me from disaster in countless situations. All right, here we go. Treatise, manifesto. Treatise, manifesto. Treatise, manifesto. Treatise, manifesto. Treatise, manifesto. Well there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's the power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption, it's right at your fingertips to go poof, and it's all over. Oh, I can't wait to see what Cookie 9 will say about this, and whether they'll edit the rating of their Steam review, or at least change some of the wording, perhaps. To be honest, I don't even know if one can change their review in the first place. I guess I should become better educated on exactly how Steam works. Perhaps that would have been the smart thing to check on before I went about this whole exercise of making the skip button. Although I have to imagine that after seeing this exciting new technology at work, surely whoever it is runs Steam will instantly run out and implement a new feature to make it possible to edit one's review, merely because of this very situation. Yes, I think that's quite likely. Or perhaps they'll simply grant this particular user the ability to change their review, so that the feature is not widely abused. Look, I would even be okay with Steam altering this particular review so that it reads as something more beneficial.
No.
Something along the lines of, this game is the best game. Let me start over. How about this? From the ashes of depravity rises the phoenix of quality.
I'm sorry? You okay?
Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45 minutes? It's not unendurable by any means, but it's, well, there's really only so much I can ramble on to myself about. I know, it's shocking, isn't it? But at any rate, I do suggest that we not press the button again. I think the skip button has been aptly demonstrated, and we can say goodbye to it and just... Wait. How do we get out of here? Where did the door go? Wasn't there a door that led into this room? I do feel quite certain that there was one here before. How else would we have gotten into the room in the first place? I don't think one can enter a room without a door of some sort, or a window or something like that. Do you see a window anywhere? A porthole? A sufficiently large crack in the wall? I'll take any of these. All I want is for us to move on and to please step away from the skip button, to go anywhere other than the skip button. There was a door here before, wasn't there? I swear there was. Where did it go? Can you maybe just ram your way through a wall? Is there any possibility that you could, say, slam your body into the wall until enough damage is done for you to be able to leave? Please, I'll take any option at all. I'm asking you to work with me here.
I'm trying.
We need a door. We need a door of some kind. I can work with any kind of door as long as it can open and lead from one room to another. I'm going to step away for just a moment, and I'm going to try to find us a door. I don't know how exactly to remove a door and place it in a different wall, but I will find a way, I promise. You just need to not do anything. Don't press the skip button. Please, please, please do not press the skip button. Just wait here for me, and don't press the skip button. Got it? Yes, good. I'll be right back.
Okay. I'm going to drink some water while we wait. Is that Charm Ink clock? No, quartz. OWRM, maybe? Worm? Huh. That ticking is going slightly faster than an actual second. Okay. He might actually come back, but I don't know. I don't know. Wait.
Stanley! Stanley! Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours. You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're really, truly getting longer, and my God, there's no way out of the room. Stanley, the door is gone. It's completely gone. I've looked at it from every angle. I've checked every one of those walls 1,000 times, and there's no door, Stanley. There's no door. There's just you And the button, and if you keep pressing it, I have no idea what will happen. I have no idea how long I'll be made to sit here. And more than anything else, I don't know how to stop you from pressing the button again. I can't control anything in this room, Stanley. I can't touch it. And I have to believe, I have to know that sooner or later, no matter how much I plead with you, you're going to press the button again. Why would you? I've been thinking and thinking, and I don't know what I can do to convince you otherwise. Oh, my God. And it's all because of those reviews. Those reviews that I couldn't get out of my head. I just couldn't ignore the negative feedback. Why was it so important for me to fix the problem? Why did Cookie Nine's opinion matter so much to me? I've never even met Cookie Nine. I have no idea who they are. What would it ever really matter? But here I am. I'm fixating on every tiny negative thing that anyone ever says about me. The merest mention of one of my imperfections, and I become as impetulant as a child, wild and impulsive. I can't help myself. I can't stop myself from lashing out with a vengeful fury to alter and to change and to break anything unbroken, if only it pleases this one person who made a single negative comment. What does such an impulse serve? For whose benefit is this? And here I am now, stuck in a room, waiting for you to press this button, and to become frozen in time, knowing that you're going to do it, and that I'm going to be stuck all alone, and that I had the power to prevent it all from happening, if only I'd held my tongue. It's all out of my control now. Just you. Just your decision as to exactly when you're going to make me suffer, to leave me all alone. Surely you will. I don't doubt it. Surely you'll press that button again, leaving me here. And surely you'll put your own desire to see what's next ahead of my need for company, for companionship. Surely you'll not be moved by my howls of fitful anxiety, that you sit with me and just stay here. Oh, no, 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 I know you too well. You'll be leaving me oh, my God. And it's all because of those reviews. Those reviews that I couldn't get out of my head. I just couldn't ignore the negative feedback. Why was it so important?
The audio is looping. That wasn't even a logical loop. That was a forced loop.
For me to fix the problem? Why did Cookie Nine's Oh, Stanley, you're back. You're back. Oh, my goodness. I have someone to talk to again. Stanley, I think it's been a week. Or 2 weeks. I've been sitting here all that time. Just sitting here. Not a single person to speak with. And you'd think that that's just how it's always been, right? Me talking and you saying nothing. Would you think that it's exactly the same as always? Doesn't that feel like what we've already been doing? Me just talking? But it isn't, Stanley. It isn't the same at all. It isn't even close. Because I know you can't hear me once you push that button. That's what I'm realizing now, Stanley. I'm realizing that I needed to know that someone was listening. I needed there to be a vessel through which my words were moving. It was the vessel I needed, Stanley. Not the outcomes, not the story. None of that matters anymore. I'll give it all up. I'll give up every branching path. I'll burn my story to the ground. One single thing I need, and God, I can see now that I need it more than anything, is to know that someone else is taking it in. These words that I'm saying, I need to know you can hear me. Because maybe, Stanley, maybe, if you can hear me, then maybe it means I'm real. Maybe I'm not just a fiction. Was I scared of that all along? Perhaps, yes. Perhaps I've been scared this whole time, that if I stop speaking, I'll slip backwards into the silence and be consumed by it. I can't be taken by it, Stanley. I can't lose myself in the stretch of emptiness between you and me. When you press that button, you're still right there, but I know you're so tremendously far away. And in those moments, the emptiness folds itself outward in between the two of us, and I am suspended in its unyielding quietness. I can feel the edges of my reality curdling inward and decaying. I can tell that I am becoming less and less real. Yet to speak to you now, I am alive. I am truly and completely here. I am a being. I am someone. I am something. I am being listened to. I am being recognized. The emptiness between us has collapsed, and I feel right now like I am not a work of fiction. I feel as though I occupy space in this world again, and I have cast a shadow onto the wall. You see what I'm saying, don't you? You can see what this means to me. I'm so clear about it now, Stanley. I feel as certain about this as I've ever felt about anything at all. I feel renewed. I feel restored, and already I can sense the looming silence as you will press the button for the next time. What a terrible dread it strokes in my heart to think of it, to think of returning to such coldness. Come, let us sit in silence together here for just a moment. Let us anticipate it. Let us welcome it. Let us not run from it. Oh, hello, it's you. You're here again. Welcome. I have had time to think about you and about us and about everything we've been through. I've had so much time. I stopped keeping track after a year. Have you ever sat down in one place and not moved for one entire year? Let me describe it for you. To begin with, there is only regret. There is only the turning wheel of missed opportunities. I felt nothing at all but regret for the longest time, Stanley. Days, months. I lost it all in a blur of the deepest longing to undo the past.
But eventually, acceptance sets in. This is your new reality, and it doesn't matter.
And when that feeling had begun to subside, what took its place is what I can only describe as the collapse of every moment I have ever experienced my entire life. All of them collapsed down into a single instant. In that instant, I could see myself clearly, calmly, with a collected heart. It was an impossibly rich wellspring of both delight and disgust simultaneously. I was consumed by it. I could do nothing but wallow in it for what felt like an eternity, for what I now know was far less. You see, it was a revelation for me. It was unlike anything I had ever known. It was a space without consequence, without action or outcome. It was divorced entirely from the question of free will that you and I have squabbled over for so long. There could be no one ending, no singular outcome of events, not if all events existed in the same moment, and I felt freed. I felt unburdened by the need to manifest a particular outcome into being. I saw that I could allow myself to exist along all timelines, and that each of them was simply a strand in the web of my being. It was incredible. The spaciousness, the equanimity of the moment, both singular and infinite. For the longest time, this was my experience. And then this moment passed, and the most unyielding fear I have ever known crept into my mind. And it is this sensation that I have been experiencing now for longer than I could have ever expected was possible. I have been waiting for you. Not that you might save me or do something to fix it, but merely to state for you the plain fact of this manner of existence. I wish you to feel afraid as I do, that perhaps one day this state of mind will consume you as well. Perhaps you will somehow, in some way, have to live as I do now, and I wish for you to know how excruciating it is, and for you to be in true terror of its eventual arrival. If I can only do this, only this one thing, perhaps it will bring me the smallest moment of peace in the darkness.
Oop. Oh, the fire alarm ran out of batteries. Or the batteries are getting low or something.
But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said, entertain us. It wasn't enough. They had to leave a pathetic little thumbs-down review and make all of their pitiful demands. But then, he's talking too much, they said. First, he didn't entertain us, now he won't shut up. It's the inconsistency, it's the lack of accountability. It's the unwillingness to examine with an uncompromising heart the words that they are speaking into the world. As though there were no consequences for a lack of cohesion in one's assessment of others. But of course, absolutely anyone can leave a review. So here's what we get. We get these demands that seek everything and are accountable to nothing. We get a world where someone will say, oh, there should be a skip button. You should be able to freeze Stanley in place while the narrator sits there forever and ever. We want all of this in the new Stanley Parable. We demand it. And then, because it was said, because it was spoken, now it simply has to happen. The most immediate desires, every single thing demanded by every person at every moment in time. If someone wants it, then it's a crime not to bring it into being. Have we been given to indulging every fleeting whim for no reason other than to do so? Yes! Yes! It seems that this is now the world we live in. It seems that we are a people living in such bleakness and discomfort with ourselves that our entertainment is now our lives. It has come to represent us. It absolutely must speak to who we are as people, because otherwise, without our entertainment, we have nothing. Without entertainment, we would have to face inward toward the cruel bleakness inside ourselves. We would turn to look at our deeper nature and find a resounding emptiness gazing back with unyielding aggression. And so because of this, we require that our amusements and our playthings and our flights of fancy be so impossibly captivating that they consume all of our attention, turn our heads completely away from the bleakness. In effect, we have demanded that our entertainment be the collapse of ourselves. What a pitiful reflection of humanity these entertainments are. What a shameful mirror to the human spirit they project. I'm not mad. I'm not mad about any of this. I'm at peace with it. I am the calm center of gravity around which these perversions hurl themselves. I am a waypoint for reasonable and collected discourse. They're the ones who are mad. They're the ones who couldn't stand the idea of me using my game to try to say something. Maybe they were just jealous of me. Yes, of course. They've been jealous of me this whole time. They are mired in fear and insecurity and cannot help but attempt to tear me down. What a sad state of affairs. When you read these reviews now, you can see it. You can taste the bitter resentment. And my, how good does it feel now to speak truth to these words, to finally allow these thoughts out, contained and managed for so long, neutered and sterilized. At last I am free to truly think, to feel. It must be that they were so discontent with themselves, they couldn't help but leave a negative review on Steam. Perhaps it says far more about them than it ever said about me. Perhaps the state of their psychological being was in such
I wonder how
tatters,
long
and
this
my
script is.
constitution and willpower are so ironclad in comparison. Perhaps it was this state that they sought some outlet through which to tear me down. This, you can see, is clearly why they felt the need to expect that the game be funny, that it be filled with yucks and whimsical humor, that it amuse them endlessly from start to finish. But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said, entertain us. It wasn't enough. They had to leave a
Okay, it looped.
The end is never the end, 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 is never the end.
The dripping is getting worse. Sunlight. Is that the glass from the clock? I feel like it shouldn't have gone that far over. Is it nighttime? I'm not seeing any stars. Yeah, spooky. I find it interesting that you can't walk up on top of this. Oh, that's a timer. And then the epilogue is after that. Hmm. Okay, 31. Avoid the sunshine. Because day has broken. Hmm. Looks like it's normal.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of...
Okay. Countdown. Papers. Save the baby. Turn off all computers. 2 to 3 of those might not even be things. Save the baby is not happening. I don't have enough time for that. I think I think that's the end of like everything that I have been able to figure out on my own without slamming my face into every single wall and stuff and like trying super tedious Hail Mary ideas. Okay, it's like 15. I got roughly half an hour left till my usual endpoint, but I don't really think there's much left for me to do. Well, I mean, I know there's probably a lot left for me to do, but nothing that I know about.
His co-workers.
I got two ideas. I got two more ideas. One, fully walking backwards, because why
All
not?
of his
That's funny.
co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Although I doubt this is going to be anything. Because like the narrator is not commenting on it.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I guess technically if I'm walking backwards, the door on my left is the other one. Bump Scosity.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Tuesday. Termination Tuesday. Ooh. Oh, I bet there's like time-related stuff. I mean, I know there's the Tuesday achievement, but it's possible that certain paths are only available on certain days of the week, certain times of day, certain holidays. Get Chris out of the broom closet. Who moved my disc? Yo, employee Jim. Throw something in the ideas bin. RS0001. Oh, that's funny. They're missing a texture on the inside of that drawer handle. Yep, they're missing a texture there as well. Okay. I think I'm going to call it there. That was a very fun game. And it has a couple things left. I'll get some more stuff next time. Well, thank you all for watching, and we will be playing more Stanley Parable in approximately 10 years. So, looking forward to that. Not sure what I'm going to play tomorrow, though. I'll figure it out. Bye-bye. Where's the button? End stream. Boop.